it's Guido coming at you with a Tactics Talk. Welcome back and thanks for tuning in. I appreciate your support of the channel. Keep it up. You can see that I'm here on Paris. I went to Paris looking for answers. I've used that a lot, haven't I? I need a new Paris song to quote. I am in my WZ. What is this? The WZ-132. And I am bottom tier, but only 2 tiers. So 1 tier down. And I go out to the field. So I go out to the field on Paris. Interesting choice, right? I don't usually go out to the field on Paris. You can see a lot of our more important tanks are headed down to the south right there. But it brings up an interesting point as I was watching this replay, deciding what I was going to do with it or even use it, because it's not an especially amazing replay, actually. But it illustrates an interesting point, like I said, and that point is, how do you know if you mattered in a match? How do you know if you mattered in a match? Does it matter if you do 1,000 damage and you live and you win? Did you have a significant part to play just because you lived and you won? What are the factors that makes your participation in the match matter? Why do you matter? How do you matter? What are the things that you look for? And that informs your positioning. Was it a good idea to go where you went? When you look at the game after it's over, did what you did in the match have anything to do with whether your team won or not? You might say, well, Guido, you got 1,000 something damage, a couple kills, or maybe 1 kill. So yeah, you mattered. You helped win. Well, I don't know. Did I? Look what's going on down in the south. Right now it's pretty even, right? Pretty even. I would say that I get hit by the T-54. What I have done so far hasn't caused a loss, necessarily. But I'm certainly not carrying this. So watch as this goes. We've taken an STG, a Lorraine, a 432, and a Type 59, and a couple artillery. And we've killed a scout. We know that 103-0 and the 40T are hanging out in the back, and we got a T-54 there. So 2 of their 9s. We killed the LT-432, and then another scout, the whatever that was, Bulldog. But watch what's going on down in the south. We've got them 4-2, 5-3. The Lorraine's kind of hanging out. The Type's sitting way back there. The LT's doing some work, trying to find some guys. The artillery really doesn't matter too much. They can't really hit a lot of those places. I get a shot on the T-54. A lot of the places down on the K line or row, whatever it is. Now it's 6-3. You can see the route is starting to be on down in the south. The guys down in the south are winning it, and they're going to win it pretty well. So the question is, did it matter what I did? I've got my 1,000 damage. I have no kills so far. I helped to make sure they didn't win the north, but they weren't particularly aggressive anyway, were they? The scouts were looking around. The T-54 hung out in a bush. The Lorraine is in a corner. The Sturv isn't driving anywhere. He's just hanging out. Good news is we're not lighting ourselves and letting the Sturv have shots, other than a little bit earlier. And we're not letting our artillery shoot. Look at the route. Just everything's died in the south. So take a look at it right now. So I pose the question, did what I do in this match really matter, whether we won or not? I would say no. My answer to the question is my positioning and what I did in this game, even though I had contributed to a win with 1,000 damage, that was 1,000 damage that had to be done, but I would submit that more than likely that damage gets done without me, and probably by all these guys who are sweeping up from the south. Now my presence kept the Reds out in the field from doing much of anything, but I would say that based on the way they played and the tanks they're in, it was unlikely they were going to do much of anything anyway. It was unlikely they were going to do much of anything anyway. And this really is a raffle stomp at the end of the day. Here's my kill. Yeehaw, 1,099 damage. A little power slide for you right there. But I think it's an interesting discussion because it goes back to your positioning and what it is exactly you're trying to do in the game. If you loaded into this and said to yourself, Self, I'm a scout, I'm going to the field. Well, is the field ever really decisive? Well, the answer is yes, but occasionally. So the question then becomes, on average, or do the odds favor the north part of this map, the field, being decisive? The answer to that question is no. So the next thing you ask yourself, do I want to go there to where it is not really odds on the decisive part of the map? Well, the answer is always maybe. It's situational. There may be a situation where you're top tier with fast tanks in a platoon of 3, and you know you can roll the field quickly and get right down the south and just roll through behind them. Okay, noted, that is a possibility. But the odds say that more than likely you need to go down to the south. Now, I come at this game with the idea that I'm the best player on the team, even if I objectively am not. I go where the most critical fight is most of the time. Sometimes I don't for all the standard reasons. I just don't want to. Sometimes I want to try something different. But I have to, and you would have to do the same thing, understand that you're taking a low percentage shot in that case. And if it doesn't pan out, that's mostly on you for taking that low percentage shot. If it does pan out, you probably have a pretty good video. So it's just something to think about when you're looking at your losses or your wins. Sometimes just ask yourself, man, did I really have much to do with that? And then why? Why was that? Did the fight just go away from me? I went to the critical train and it was a weird fight and the fight was just somewhere else. And they raffle stomp. Say your whole team went to the field and you went down to the south on this particular map and they simply just rolled through and came around and got all the hit points and you just kind of hung out down in the south and stopped them a little bit. I mean, that's a possibility. That's a possibility right there. But you have to be honest with yourself. You know, did it matter? Did what I do matter? Did I make the high percentage play or did I take the low percentage play? And what was the result of that? So you can look objectively at your wins and losses, and that helps you learn the right lessons, is really, at the end of the day, what I'm getting at here. Did you learn the right lesson from your win or your loss? And it starts with asking yourself, what did I do in this game and did it matter? All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate it. And as always, we will see you.